Chapter 50 of Nickleby by Charles Dickens. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, visit LibriVox.org. Nickleby by Charles Dickens. Chapter 50 involves a serious catastrophe. The little racecourse at Hampton was in the full tide and height of its gaiety. The day as dazzling as could be, the sun high in the cloudless sky and shining in its fullest splendor. Every gaudy color that fluttered in the air from carriage seat and garish tent top shone out in its gaudiest hues. Old dingy flags grew new again. Faded gilding was reburnished. Stained, rotten canvas looked a snowy white. The very beggars' rags were freshened up, and sentiment quite forgot its charity in its fervent admiration of poverty so picturesque. It was one of those scenes of life and animation, caught in its very brightest and freshest moments, which can scarcely fail to please. For if the eye be tired of show and glare, or the ear be weary with a ceaseless round of noise, the one may repose, turn almost where it will, on eager, happy, and expectant faces, and the other deaden all consciousness of more annoying sounds in those of mirth and exhilaration. Even the sunburnt faces of gypsy children, half naked though they be, suggest a drop of comfort. It is a pleasant thing to see that the sun has been there, to know that the air and light are on them every day, to feel that they are children and lead children's lives, that if their pillows be damp, it is with the dews of heaven, and not with tears, that the limbs of their girls are free, and that they are not crippled by distortions, imposing an unnatural and horrible penance upon their sex, that their lives are spent from day to day, at least among the waving trees, and not in the midst of dreadful engines which make young children old before they know what childhood is, and give them the exhaustion and infirmity of age, without, like age, the privilege to die. God send that old nursery tales were true, and that gypsies stole such children by the score. The great race of the day had just been run, and the close lines of people on either side of the course, suddenly breaking up and pouring into it, imparted a new liveliness to the scene, which was again all busy movement. Some hurried eagerly to catch a glimpse of the winning horse. Others darted to and fro, searching, no less eagerly, for the carriages they had left in quest of better stations. Here, a little knot gathered round a pea and thimble table to watch the plucking of some unhappy greenhorn, and there, another proprietor, with his confederates in various disguises, one man in spectacles, another with an eyeglass and a stylish hat, a third dressed as a farmer well-to-do in the world, with his top coat over his arm, and his flash notes in a large leathern pocket book, and all with heavy-handled whips to represent most innocent country fellows who had trotted there on horseback, sought, by loud and noisy talk and pretended play, to entrap some unwary customer, while the gentlemen confederates, of more villainous aspect still, in clean linen and good clothes, betrayed their close interest in the concern by the anxious, furtive glance they cast on all newcomers. These would be hanging on the outskirts of a wide circle of people assembled round some itinerant juggler, opposed in his turn by a noisy band of music or the classic game of Ring the Bull, while ventriloquists, holding dialogues with wooden dolls, and fortune-telling women, smothering the cries of real babies, divided with them, and many more, the general attention of the company. Drinking tents were full, glasses began to clink in carriages, hampers to be unpacked, tempting provisions to be set forth, knives and forks to rattle, champagne corks to fly, eyes to brighten that were not dull before, and pickpockets to count their gains during the last hit. The attention so recently strained on one object or interest was now divided among 100, and look where you would, there was a motley assemblage of feasting, laughing, talking, begging, gambling, and mummery. Of the gambling booths there was a plentiful show, flourishing in all the splendour of carpeted ground, striped hangings, crimson cloth, pinnacled roofs, geranium pots, and livery servants. There were the Strangers' Clubhouse, the Athenaeum Clubhouse, the Hampton Clubhouse, the St. James Clubhouse, and half a mile of clubhouses to play in, and there were rouge et noir, French hazard, and other games to play at. It is into one of these booths that our story takes its way. Fitted up with 3 tables for the purposes of play, and crowded with players and lookers-on, it was, although the largest place of the kind upon the course, intensely hot, notwithstanding that a portion of the canvas roof was rolled back to admit more air, and there were 2 doors for a free passage in and out, excepting 1 or 2 men who, each with a long roll of half-crowns, checkered with a few stray sovereigns, in his left hand, staked their money at every roll of the ball with a business-like sedateness, which showed that they were used to it, and had been playing all day, and most probably all the day before. There was no very distinctive character about the players, who were chiefly young men, apparently attracted by curiosity, or staking small sums as part of the amusement of the day, with no very great interest in winning or losing. There were 2 persons present, however, who, as peculiarly good specimens of a class, deserve a passing notice. Of these, one was a man of 6 or 8 and 50, who sat on a chair near one of the entrances of the booth, with his hands folded on the top of his stick, and his chin appearing above them. He was a tall, fat, long-bodied man, buttoned up to the throat in a light green coat, which made his body look still longer than it was. He wore, besides, drab breeches and gaiters, a white neckerchief, and a broad-brimmed white hat. Amid all the buzzing noise of the games, and the perpetual passing in and out of the people, he seemed perfectly calm and abstracted, without the smallest particle of excitement in his composition. He exhibited no indication of weariness, nor to a casual observer of interest either. There he sat, quite still and collected. Sometimes, but very rarely, he nodded to some passing face, or